What's up mga crazy men? I'm back and today we'll be reacting to my thesis defense part 2. Let's go! What's up mga crazy men? I'm back and today we'll be reacting to my thesis defense part 2 as promised. So the first part was my defense and now it's time for part 2, the Q&A part, yung mas nakakabang part. So just a quick background if you guys weren't able to watch my first one. My thesis was the Philippine Sangley International Airport. I presented my thesis last year and I've graduated since. I was lucky enough to get a grade of Uno in my thesis. Outstanding Thesis Award for my thesis. So yeah, I'll be sharing with you guys more of what I was feeling, thinking, and going through while the whole thing was happening. So it's time to react to my thesis Q&A. Let's go! Together, we have redefined Philippine time. Thank you.
The circular runway has been presented before, and since it's not really part of our scope as architects, so we will skip the discussion whether safe below the runway.
Okay, so first off the bat, tinurn down kagad ako ng jury ko. Sinabi kagad nila na the circular runway has been proposed before. But honestly, hindi ko alam kung sino yun. Kung may nag-propose ba talaga ng circular runway in the previous batches before me. But then from then on, nung sinabi nila sa akin na we will not be talking about the circular runway and that it's outside of our scope. Totoo lang, medyo a part of me died. I really had a lot of studies ready for that. Pero still, I didn't let that bring me down. Sabi ko, okay lang, kaya lang. First, let me introduce you to my jury. My head juror was Architect Aguilar. He's very familiar with airports. Like nung ARCC, tinuturo niya sa amin yun. My other juror, on the one on the left, is Architect Carlo Saico. So, he was my, I think, BT2 prof back in second year. At medyo kilala niya ako nun. Because when I was in college, I was president first year, second year, fourth year, and fifth year. And then my last juror, the one on the right, the one with the glasses, is Architect Kunanan. Honestly, when I saw Architect Kunanan, I didn't know who he was. Like, fifth year na ako and like, hindi ko naman nadaanan lahat ng prof. During your defense, malalaman mo lang jury mo is the day itself. Pagdating ng 6 p.m. and nakita ko sila, parang I didn't know what to feel. It wasn't gonna be easy. I know it was gonna be challenging. Si Architect Aguilar was like, so, let's get straight to the point. Ano ba naiiba sa airport mo? So, let's see what I said. So I mentioned this street wall will be the land side, from the land side to the air side. And then I also mentioned now we have the mover here, the C for seamless transfer. So this is actually that platform. So for you to get around my diagrams are super basic but super straight to the point. So at this part, I'm just explaining them my people movers kasi nga I have divided my airport to a landside and airside building. And I'm just showing them a diagram which will further help me explain my design.
So how do you address the collective time wherein it's 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours?
Actually sir, what I incorporated here actually is from the 4th floor as you can see. Naglagay po ko din ng sleeping pod numbers for the people. Kasi if it's a long flight, I actually experienced this already. I had a 7-hour layover na nakakapagod mo talaga. We were talking about at this part already, the layover part, and then you're experiencing a 7-hour layover in Doha. So the sleeping pod now is actually open to the public, to the economy passengers. Other than that, you also incorporated the different stations in our airport, like the Oasis Cargo. Okay, the diagram you can see on the screen is my departure level airside terminal. Super basic as you can see here, flat lay lang, color code, and then just like, if you see the red parts, those are the commercial spaces. Yellow yung mga restaurant, the green Oasis is like the central garden. Parang here talaga it's important that you just show them how your spaces should wait. Let's go. And then also, as you can see on the bottom left of my PowerPoint, may key map ako. Don't forget that. That's one of the most important things when you're explaining your design. Kailangan may key map sila para alam nila kung nasaan ka, kung nasaan sila.
There was this time in early 2000, yung SARS outbreak.
Okay, can you see how detailed this floor plan is? You have to consider it like a real project. This is super detailed, so I made the zoning map on the screen para easier to understand.
Quarantine. So, is there any element for this?
Yes. For airside po, bago sila makapunta sa landside, we have provincial spaces too. So we have here the security check first and then the
visit quarantine?
5x4.
5x4. Yeah.
So, ito yung question na pinaka-kinabahan ako my whole defense. Architect Aguilar asked me about what if there was an airplane full of people na meron silang sakit. Similar to what we're experiencing now, like a viral flu. And then, you really have to contain them. So, he started asking me, do you have a quarantine area? And, of course, I said, yes, of course I did. And then he asked me, what's the size of that? Based on my grid, my column grids, I was like, okay, let's assume kung ano yung size na ito. When I said 5x4, it was too small. My minimum should have been a room capacity for one full A380 bus because that's the biggest airplane there is right now. I was able to say naman na kailangan sa airplane muna sila bago pababain. And if papababain sila, meron naman tayong isolation unit. So these things you really find out through research. You really have to read up on a lot of things. Like imagine, I went down to the detail of researching kung paano i-orient ang Muslim prayer room. Since this is an international airport, kailangan every aspect may basis ka. So these kinds of details na even if you don't really memorize them but you read, maalala mo siya and it's gonna be super helpful for your defense. See, this is so timely. Sir Aguilar is talking about SARS and then now we have the whole pandemic happening. So yeah, there could have been a lot of solutions or ways to control this kind of virus spreading. Airports could do a better job now moving forward. So very timely that I was able to consider this for my defense.
There was a point in time yata they did not allow the whole plane to example. Kasi wala silang facility sa loob.
Okay, do you see that guy at the back wearing the blue polo shirt? He's actually one of my mentors for my thesis. So that's Paolo Galang. His thesis, siguro 2-3 years before me was an airport also in Sangley Point. And what I did was I would always consult with him when it comes to research, when it comes to studies. Parang since everyone knows that an airport is gas-gas daw. But those who did airports, sobrang alam natin lahat na ang hirap niya gawin. It's been a tradition, more like not really a tradition, but what we've been doing is it's just passing on the torch, paying it forward to the next batch of people who'll be doing that with Thesis. So the person after me, I believe Carlson, who was doing this video, but he didn't do an airport. It was something similar to an airport. It's just paying it forward after working so much. So thanks to Paolo and thank you also to my advisor, Miss Sanchez. Miss you, ma'am. Let's go. Sana okay ka. Let's go. Actually, sir, based on my consultations with the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, they mentioned that in case of emergencies like that, you have to make part of your taxi na parang quarantine zone. So in that case nga po, airplane mo lang po, hindi na pwede palabasin. Okay, so when you're defending, always cite your source. So it's a way of being credible. Para alam nila na may background yung sinasabi mo and hindi lang opinion. Okay, so I had a long discussion with Architect Aguilar regarding quarantine facilities in an airport. It's time to move forward to Architect Cunanan.
A bit more deal with the aesthetic and your concept about the structures because as we all know, in designing any airport, kailangan iconic brand. And one of your design objectives here is you want to design a urban profile gateway that will be able to define a sense of place through Filipino architecture. So my first question now is, what do you mean by sense of place?
Okay, so see right off the bat, si Architect Cunanan naman was asking me about my concept, my objectives. So as you can see, they were tackling every part of my thesis. Parang ka lang naglalaro ng boxing with your jury. Trying to find the spot kung saan kanila masasaktan. What I really did was prepare my whole body, armor, training, everything, but that's mentally preparedness. Let's go! About my sense of place. This will be, since the airport is the first thing they'll see when they arrive, and the last thing is the airport. So I wanted to, kumbaga, mimic our country as much as possible. So I showed that with our materials, when the materials we used there. No, of course, for me, sense of place would be the whole feeling of the airport. And as you can see to the airport, it has that light feeling. Na maybe spaces ka. Oh, I remember now. Isa niya rin sa hinahanap na maaliwalas feel. And I think I was able to show that naman through my interior perspectives. Yung pagpasok mo ng airport, maaliwalas. Pero out of my tatlong jury, siya yung nagbigay sa akin ng pinakamababang grade. But still, nakauna pa rin. So thank you. Let's go. About this part, Architect Cunanan is already asking me, you're redefining Filipino architecture. So define Filipino architecture. So like I told you guys, kailangan alam niyo yung mga definitions niyo. For me, kasi the definition of Filipino type, that's on the intangible side. Yung parang yun nga po, the being late, yung, kasi nga po, di ba, if you're mas late, mas important. Yun po yung so of the word, that's the intangible side. So parang I wanted to show that through the materials that I through the whole thing of it. So, my concept was the intangible aspect of Filipino time. Gusto ko siya gawing tangible. So, I was able to translate the habit of Filipino time, which is being late. Tapos parang ginawa ko, I showcased Filipino materials.
But is it the correct way to terminate your files using an isolated photo?
Yes, parang... And kinala na ako ni Sir Syke with the technical stuff. Like, you can see a smile. You're dead!
The usual assembly of a file is that it would be terminated above by a file cap,
Yes.
not an isolated footing.
File cap, and then dun sa 2.5 meter diameter na hollow ko would be 12 peak driven tiles. 12. And then dun sa mga 10 ko, dito ko siya file cap, tapos 8 peak driven tiles. So may file cap, ang sabi ko na sa akin, isa naman matte footing, file cap and then file cap and then
Kasi concern ko lang is an isolated footing, using the term isolated footing is entirely different from a file.
So in short, na-misuse ko lang yung terms na isolated footing and pile cap. So again, you just have to know your terms. So dito medyo, in-explain ko naman siya visually kung paano siya gawin, how it was explained to me, and then nag-guess naman yung Sir Syke, so pinagbigyan niya ako doon.
In terms of aesthetic, medyo hindi ako ganito convinced in terms of signifying a Filipino architecture. Yeah, I appreciate na gusto mo water architecture, pero for me, tingin ko na. Pwede na, pero hindi pa siya
So kapag ginaganyan na kayo ng jury niyo na, hindi pa ako convinced sa idea mo, pwede na, pero hindi. Guys, swear, just huwag niyo pakita na affected kayo. Kailangan strong, you know, let's go.
So my question is, how can you cohesive as one?
For me naman po, I wanted to show you that. Okay, parang, hindi lang po, yung grid pattern system is I wanted to make it cohesive through that pattern. Kasi here po, there, check in, here, all throughout the terminals po. Even in the boarding area, you can see it po, may ganun po, kumaro po. That's my pet of China. So, architect ko na was asking me, dami nangyayari sa airport ko. I have that Oasis Garden, yung freight pattern inspired by the Kalinga, UCCP. Ang dami masyadong concept na kumbaga nagsama-sama. How do you make all of these concepts into one? So again, like I told him, it was just the two things that ties up everything. It was the wood and also the freight pattern, the diamond pattern all throughout the airport. It was in my glass, in the CCP, in the ceiling. You can see it anywhere you go in the airport. So it's similar to what Changi did with their lotus flower, I believe.
How are you addressing the deliveries, the back of the house services for the footballs?
You saw that? Did you see my face? I was like, let's go. I can answer this. Let's go. Let's go. Nung sa dulo na, tinanong na ako ni Sir Syke, paano yung services mo? How will it work? So ako talaga, inaral ko yan. Kasi kung tatanungin sa akin yan, what I did, I showed the plans. We walked through ko si Sir through my services from the land side to the air side and how everything works.
And I would suggest you place ventilations on your generators kasi when it jump starts, kapag kinailangan mo siyang gamitin, bubuga ng usok yan. From the looks of it, it looks enclosed. All of it. Pag nagbuga yan ng usok sa paligid ngayon, kahala.
Explain ko lang na, kasi normally yung mga ganun na, to having louvers and openings sa plan, kita yun sa floor plan. But then given the scale of my floor plan niya, sa sobrang laki niya, hindi mo na talagang makikita yun.
You need by an ACM system intrusion. ACM system
Composite panel.
in your composite panel condition.
So yun po yung nagbabind together sa aluminum composite panel towards the tubular frame.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Sabi ni Sir Syke, no further questions, Your Honor. So as you can see, nung si Sir Syke tuloy-tuloy niya akong tinanong, tuloy-tuloy ko rin nasagot lahat ng tanong niya. When you provide your details, kailangan, hindi ka pwedeng kukuha ka lang sa internet. Kailangan, alam mo yung dinodrawing mo, tsaka alam mo kung ano yung specific detail na yun.
I'm curious lang on that question. Kasi there's circle here, but change the here and traffic.
Yes.
Kasi I didn't see the existing value from the macro.
With the circular runway po kasi. Okay, so, as you saw throughout this whole defense, hindi nila tinanong yung circular runway ko. Pero, hindi kinaya ng architect ko na tinanong niya sa dulo is, nakikurious lang ako paano ba yung flow ng circular runway. Yung PowerPoint ko, towards the ending, hindi talaga siya tatapos. Meron akong additional slides to explain the runway. Hindi ko siya pinresent during my defense. This specific diagrams were made for my Q&A. Tinis ko sila about the circular runway, but I didn't give them everything that they wanted. I only gave them specific information na kung saan mauhook sila. And then, towards the end, kapag tatanungin na nila ako about it, doon ko ipapakita sa kanila lahat ng naaral ko about this. So, nung tinanong ako ni architect ko na sa dulo, what is it ba? Ano ba yung circular runway? So, doon ko pinaulan lahat nung na-research ko. Ganito po yung approach niya. So, instead of landing straight, conical po yung approach niya. So, conical. So, when it goes conical, kapag best approach ka po, kasi sasabihin ko sa inyo system, hindi mo na kaya i-hand. So, from there po, we can go out of the circle. Ganun po yung best approach niya. And then, ito po yung flight path nila. Actually po, it will be pabilog din po, pero it's an interactive po. So, with this, we still follow the standards of the aviation sector. And actually, I got the chance to talk to the head designer of the runway, si Engineer Sanchez and Ar in the Netherlands. I got the chance to talk to him po, and then he mentioned that po it will still be safe po. And yung lateral acceleration po, sa train po kasi it's 1.2 meters per second squared acceptable. Pero with the circular runway po, kahit kung nakagilid ka, it's only 1 meter per second squared. So, when it comes to the passenger experience po, it's even parang nasa train ka lang. So as you see, like it's sa thesis talaga, you just have to get the ball rolling para yung interest nila tuloy-tuloy. I mentioned that I was able to talk to Engineer Henk Hesselink, the main designer of the circular runway. You really have to state your sources, and actually all these diagrams regarding the circular runway I got from them. So thank you again to the Aerospace Center of the Netherlands for this. The runway is a macro solution, and then kumbaga po, micro solution of terminals. So another thing that I did, the runway was the macro solution, the solution to the bigger problem, which is air traffic. The micro solution would be the flow inside the terminal. So again, you have to relate everything in your design, from solving the biggest problem to the smallest problem.
I was halfway there.
Actually, I was able to talk to a captain from Philippine Airlines. So he said, it is a very big innovation, even in their field. And they actually acknowledge it, even the civil aviation authority. So again, Architect Aguilar did mention the need for retraining for pilots for the circular runway. And I was able to talk to the Civil Aviation of the Philippines and a few pilots regarding this. Sabi nga nila, imminent na magkaroon ng retraining talaga. They acknowledge the circular runway design, and though there will be a need for retraining, they see it as a possible future nga naman daw in the future.
Closing remarks.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity, for giving this opportunity to present this in your circular runway and Okay, so that ends my thesis defense. As you can see, ang tagal nung naging defense ko. It took like an hour long actually. After nung Q&A, papalabisin everyone in the room. So that includes you and your audience, and then silang tatlo lang may iwan para mag-grade. When I went out, honestly, sobrang laking sigh of relief na tapos na ako sa thesis. Basta sabi ko, basta pumasa na lang ako. Kahit hindi ako makauno, basta makapasa ako, tapos na. And then, my friends, sila Tracy, sila Gen, sila Kat, sila Neil, they were all like telling me, Ames, uno na yan, nasagot mo lahat ng questions sila. Which I felt I did naman. And a few minutes after, pinatawag na ako to go inside so they can tell me my grade. So, una, they talked to me about kamusta yung naging thesis mo, like how was the experience. They also asked me pala, anong gagawin mo? Kasi, day of my defense, I remember very clearly, premiere opening ng Avengers. Yato nila, manonood ka ba ng Avengers mamaya pagkatapos ng defense mo? Sabi ko, sir, hindi. Magpapahinga talaga ako. Sobrang pagod ko pa. And then after that, sinabi nila sa akin na, sayang, sobrang lapit mo na. Like, parang nagigets ko na yung sinasabi nila na, I got a 1.25 pero di ako umabot. Tapos tinatanong nila kung kamusta ba daw relationship ko with my advisor kasi part of your final grade is from your advisor. Parang sinasabi nila yung advisor ko daw mababa binigay sa akin. So, Ma'am Sanchez, thank you so much talaga. You gave me an uno for the advisor's grade. And then, for my jury, inabot nila sa akin. So, my friends were able to video that. And then, pag open ko ng paper, yung mata ko talagang bumababa lang hanggang nakita ko naka-encircle uno. And after that, hindi ko na no-control na naiyak ako na parang sobrang sumaya ako na parang lahat ng pagod ko for that whole year of doing my thesis was worth it. Lahat yun parang nag-in-exhale ko kumbaga. So, getting that grade, aiming for that, and actually attaining it, actually getting that grade that I really wanted, really paid off for me, and it was such an achievement for me na I'm really glad that I'm able to share it with you guys and to everyone else. So actually, after my thesis, I was super thankful. What I really did was really just pay it forward. I couldn't have done it without my friends. Like, one way or another, we all helped each other. It's really all about helping each other graduate and finish this whole college thing with a bang. That was my whole thesis experience. The day after, literally, hindi ko alam kung anong gagawin ko. Like, sinabi ko, what do I do now? Kasi for the longest time, araw-araw naka-laptop lang ako. Eat, sleep, wake, thesis, repeat. It was a very memorable experience for me, yung thesis. So it might not be the same for everyone. So I'm not trying to impose anything. This is just my experience and I'm happy that you get to watch it and hopefully you get to learn something from it. So, this ends my vlog. Thank you so much for watching this episode of my vlog. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And always remember, it's always better to see something once than hear about it 1,000 times. Peace!